is up? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ink and Insights. Tonight, I am your host, your boy Stu from Dr. Doom's Fan Club. As always, I am joined by my co-host E from Nine Panel Grid. E, how are you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Dude, I'm doing really good. I'm doing like really good today. It's been an adventurous day. I'll leave it at that here. We'll dive into what I mean by that a little bit
Yeah,
later.
you've
But
been
man,
awful mysterious with it, man. I can't wait to see what we got cooking here in the background.
don't
Yeah.
worry, no mysterious sponsors this week, no shenanigans. I got real legit stuff for you here. So yeah, we'll get into it though, I
Oh
promise.
yeah, absolutely. Good to see you as always, bro. Good to be here with you talking comic books, comic book news. Yeah, but chat, if you're out there, you guys let us know what was your favorite book of the week last week. It wasn't the craziest week, I would say across the board, but we definitely had some solid books. So yeah, you guys let us know what your favorite book was. Real quick, we got John in the house. John, Station Bro, always so good
What
to
up,
see you.
John?
Guys, look out. I'm going to be over on John's channel late Thursday night, my time. I think around 10, we're going to get started. After Blood Splatter Chatter, we're doing our Doom Omnibus review, part number 3. We're getting into the John Byrne era of Doom. Also going to be reviewing Triumph and Torment, so I can't wait to do that with homie John. Yeah. So make sure you check us out over on his channel late on Thursday. Matt and Clemson in the house. What up, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for coming
What up,
through,
Matt?
man. Chill out, man. What up, bro? Good to see you.
What up,
Always good to
chill?
see Chill. Best thing I read last week was Emperor Doom. Nice. All right. Excited to get into
There's
that
nothing
one as
wrong with
well.
that, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Good to see you, John. Um, all right, man. Well, yeah. Without further ado, we're gonna start with some news this time, I guess.
Yeah,
And
let's do it.
a little different twist. Yeah, there was some news. This is a couple weeks old, but we definitely wanted to touch on it as it's pertinent to what we talk about every week, comic books, especially Marvel comics. um
hmm
you couldn't really get away from the story there for a minute, but yeah, Dustin Nguyen on Instagram came out, slammed Marvel and their pay rates. And this post on social media prompted a wider discussion about pay rates from Marvel, amongst other artists. We had Who do we have? Zoe Thorogood chiming in here. Hold on, I got the quote right here. Zoe Thorogood said that, quote, the only time I worked with Marvel was on 2022's Edge of Spider-Verse, was for a character design. They paid me $100 LMAO, but I thought it would be cool just to have done it, so I agreed. They then, without my knowledge, used my concept art as a cover for issue number 2 with zero compensation, and I got so much hate for it because it was not cover art; it was $100 sketch. So that's that rough story there. Yannick Paquette, who's done a bunch of great work with Grant Morrison, Wonder Woman, Earth One, definitely.
Yeah.
Marvel has been taking advantage of its almost monopoly of mainstream comics for years. Everybody pays me better for a cover. DC, Boom, Image, Dark Horse, Oni, some Joe starting a Kickstarter. Marvel is dead last. Their argument is that the original art would sell better, and they are right, of course, but the original sale revenue is mine. We fought for this, and paying under the market is their way to claw back at this extra revenue. So, yeah, on comicsbeat.com, uh, this is the article I'm reading from. Obviously, it was reported everywhere. The comicsbeat.com article referenced Peter David and his health struggles. He's been dropped from his Medicaid disability coverage. He's got a Kickstarter trying to cover his health care bill, for $75,000 goal, and it's I think it's at about 35K right now. But the end of the article referenced that just to show you, you know, the care and attention and look after that a lot of these creators get after they leave the industry. So, yeah, man, what a lot to get into here, but um,
hmm
and Dustin Nguyen was explicit with it. He didn't, he burned that bridge. He's definitely probably never going to work for Marvel again. But what there's an element of truth in what he said. I don't agree with uh and his entire overall method of delivery. I thought he could have been a little bit more articulate and thoughtful and less impulsive with it, but at the same time it needed to be said. So yeah, let's get into it, man. What did you want to say about it first and foremost?
Um, Well, let me ping pong off of what you were just said, where like his approach maybe wasn't the most eloquent, right? And taking outside the grammar thing, because I know the grammar of his post
Yeah.
was called into question, right? And like, listen, like in the heat of the moment, I've definitely misspelled a couple things. You know, part of me feels like it was the correct approach for the time because we don't know the background rumination of all of these things that have been culminating. I mean, we know that Dustin hasn't done anything for years, right? And we know,
He had that run of like Night Terrors covers last year or the year before, but yeah, he's really, I don't know, man. Without Lemire, as his partner,
Mhm.
you really haven't seen a lot of him. And if you have, it's
Yeah.
either been with him or just doing some solo cover work here and there.
Yeah, but so I went back because like obviously like we don't know the background things that go on, but like I feel like as readers and appreciators, we have a gut feeling about the kind of stuff, right? Because we have, yeah, like both you and I mean you're Doctor Doom's freaking fan club, right? You can't say you're not a Marvel fan. I love Marvel. Daredevil is my favorite character, right? Like I mean the love runs deep. But I look back at my own stats. Marvel hasn't had a pick of the week for me since June of last year. Not only that, but they only had one runner up this year, which was the Ultimates. There has been
Yeah.
like zero excitement from the
Right.
House of Ideas. And that comes because of the way that they treat their creators, right? Whether that's through the pay, whether it's the writing page rate, the art page rate, whatever the case may be, they're spread thin, right? And you're owned by Disney, one of the largest organizations, in history, right? Like there's no excuse to not be able to pay the creators decent page rates. You have, in my personal opinion, the best, like, I don't know, the best creations ever, the best characters, the best stable of characters to work with and develop a fantastic world and make things exciting, new, fresh, bold, but they're not. They're
Yeah.
resting on their laurels. They're not paying the creators. And in doing so, you're losing my dollars. I've dropped so many Marvel books recently because it's not worth paying the money to get stories that are either recycled, retold, not up to snuff. It's pretty few and far between. And it used to be the case where you would kind of cut your teeth at Marvel and they would, either train you up or you would kind of like become a superstar there. That's not
Yeah.
the case now. It's like they're just taking whoever will accept the page rate and going with it. So knowing how I feel about that and knowing my perception of Marvel through my own personal taste, and again, how many times they've been pick of the week. And even when I did have like a long string of pick of the week, guess who it was? Chip Zdarsky, and guess what book it was? Avengers Twilight. Like
Yeah.
it's just not fair. It almost like doesn't count. So if that's how long it's been going on for my own perception, you can only imagine how long it's been going on for the creators as well, because you've seen this deteriorate year over year over year. So the frustration is clearly must have been building and building and building. So Dustin's reaction, dude, I gotta say, sometimes you got to make big bold swings, and if he's
You
going to
gotta
be the
call a
person
spade
that
a
gets out
spade.
there,
Yeah.
yeah, if he's going to be the person that puts, lays down on the track so that he can start the conversation, part of me wants to say bravo, dude. Like kudos. Like I'm glad you said the thing because now it's become something that it caught fire.
Yeah. And it's like I think it's like the worst kept secret of the industry. You know what I mean? Because like you said,
Yeah.
it's all over these books and the product we're getting. It's clear as day. And like you said, they're just handing it out to a lot of artists from the international scene who may be in different economic circumstances, or
Hmm.
I think what Zoe Thorogood said, just taking the job because it was Marvel and they wanted to have a hand in creating like a Spider-Verse character in that instance, I think is true for so many of these creators, right? It's like,
Yeah.
good Lord, really? That's what you're going to pay me? But it's like, oh, but I get to write a Iron Man story or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it's that self-sacrifice, but in the end, like, what are you really getting out of it? Because, then if that's what they're willing to pay you, and really think you're worth, then what are they? What kind of energy are they going to give you in editorial? Are they really going to back you in marketing? Are they really going to push and promote your book if it doesn't sell on issue 1 or 2? It's just it feels like a really fickle game, and the fact that it hasn't changed since the late 70s, early 80s is shocking, man. I mean,
Well,
what
it's not that
other
it hasn't even changed. It's come down. It's
exactly. I mean,
dropped.
it's like that's mind-boggling to think about any other job, any other industry where that is true. I mean, it's just crazy. So, um, yeah, and I also think what Yannick said was also true. Them trying to claw back at artists now, the original art game really opening up, and artists really making money from that, and them kind of losing, like the music industry with streaming and
Mhm.
when everything went on the internet. I think it's like the same thing with that. They're trying to get some type of chokehold on the flow of money. So it's depressing, man. I hope they hear the bell tolling and they answer in kind, because it's like you said, though. I'm glad Dustin did put it out in the open. Whether he was a little reckless, impulsive with it is what it is. But needs to be said. So hopefully
Yeah.
we'll get something positive from it.
It's just sad because like it reeks of the Marvel that held on to Jack Kirby's artwork and wouldn't give it back
Yeah,
until the
absolutely.
industry stood up and made them give it back. Like it reeks of that. And that's just a really sad place to be for such a storied organization that has like shaped like my childhood and parts a large portion of my adulthood. Like I wouldn't be here talking to you if it weren't for Marvel Comics. So like it's just a sad state of the industry when you can't just do right by the people that like put you in the place where you're at, right? Like Marvel Comics would not be Marvel Comics without the creators, and they won't be Marvel Comics without the creators. Like I hope this is a big catalyst for change.
Yeah, same. Exactly. I feel like it took kind of bankruptcy in '96 for them to kind of realize that last time and get that shakeup. So hopefully
Yep.
we don't have to go to extreme means. But real quick, let me get to the chat before we move on to our next news item, brother. We got Johnny Recaps in the building. Johnny, what up?
Johnny.
Good to see you. Y'all make sure, if you like great horror movie reviews, you're subbed up to Johnny over there, doing a great job. Speaking of great horror movie reviews, our brother Verno in the building. Blood Splatter Chatter, what up? I will be over there tomorrow night at 9 doing Reanimator with him and Link. You can make sure to check
Oh,
this out. Yeah,
that's a
dude.
great movie.
Got Sal in the building. Sal, what up, man? Good to see you.
What up, Sal?
Always good to see you, brother. Hope you are well. Um, Chill says it sounds like to me Marvel is a new Vince McMahon. Yeah, man.
Ooh, I don't want to know what's going behind those doors at Marvel if that's the case.
Yeah, I thought show was a slow down and dirty. Yeah, I don't know, same old same. Like you said, it does feel like it feels like we're back at Gerber and Kirby, though. You know what I mean? Fighting for what's right again. So,
Yep.
yeah. All right, moving on. Our second piece of news: Marvel Knights, the world to come. Joe Quesada is returning to Marvel. So,
Well,
this
I,
from Marvel's. Go ahead.
I've just been so excited to talk to you about this. We've both been in the chat and like you gave me a tidbit and I'm like, "Oh my god, what does that even mean by what you
Yeah.
say?"
So this is from Marvel's website. In 1998, the Marvel Knights line reignited the comic book industry and redefined Marvel storytelling for the 21st century. Now, over 25 years later, two of the imprint's key creators, influential writer, artist, and former Marvel Comics editor-in-chief Joe Quesada and acclaimed writer Christopher Priest, present a new evolution of the Marvel Universe under the groundbreaking Marvel Knights banner this June and Marvel Knights: The World to Come. So, in this story, basically the King of Wakanda is dead, leaving unguarded the world's most advanced tech, most precious metal, and a cryptic vault of dark secrets, while triggering global conflicts among Marvel's heroes, villains, and mutants. With T'Challa gone and the future of the Marvel Universe teetering on a vibranium's knife's edge. Ooh, I like that. A tribal challenge ensues for the Wakandan throne, and its mysterious victor will emerge as the new leader of Wakanda and usher in the world to come. This is going to be a 6-issue series dropping in, what did they say, June?
I believe so.
I
Yeah.
think they got this thing almost wrapped up, though. I think Joe's working on the last bit of issue 5 or 6 they were talking about, Niccolo was saying. So yeah, we've been working on this for a long time. Joe's finishing the last page of number 5 this week, but I can't believe the rest of the world gets in on it with us this June. So
Dude, I straight up remember, and I don't know if it's this, right? But years ago, we're talking like, God, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago. Quesada, Dan Panosian, Jeff Johnson, and Dave Johnson used to have their drink and draw YouTube channel that was on.
mhm.
And at that point, Quesada was working on things that he would show, but he couldn't say what it was. He would show you like a panel that just had like a person standing in the street or something like that, like totally mysterious. But he hasn't really had any projects that have come out since that point. Dude, I think that he's been working on this for no joke years.
Yeah, I think you might be right because, well, there was all this is why I feel a little disappointed in that, because there was all this energy when he was finally stepping away from Marvel. After how long was he there? He showed up 99, 98,
That sounds about right. Yeah, because I was
and then
in middle school or coming right into high school as Daredevil, Marvel Knights, and Daredevil #1 were hitting stands.
yeah, and so it was just a couple years ago that he stepped away. So yeah, I mean a good couple decades, and I just felt like there was this energy where he was going to do something of his own, but it was going to be completely away from Marvel and be kind of like his own thing, indie roots. I don't know. Maybe getting back to just some of the stuff he did with with that Palmiotti energy and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I don't. I'm not hyped for it because I love Christopher Priest, man, more than most. I think I love this Deathstroke run. I do think he's a great writer, but I don't know. I was just excited to see him kind of get his name away from Marvel for a little bit and maybe do something else. I know it's and always going to be tied to it
Yeah.
forever and ever, but at the same time, um, if he is going to come back with another Marvel Knights story, I hope it's going to really deliver. So I'm looking forward to it. But I love his artwork. I think he's a brilliant artist, and to see that again is going to be a treat, no matter what the story is.
Well, let me tell you what does get me excited about this and why when I saw this I thought it was something that was worth talking about, because a new miniseries, right? Regardless of the creative team, which does like move the needle for me, but it's a mini series at Marvel. Like that's not going to be something that's like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like let's freaking talk about this. What what makes me think about this is the premise behind it and the things that they very particularly bring up, right? T'Challa dies, and they very specifically bring up the fact that mutants are going to play a part in this. Kevin Feige took over. You talked about Quesada leaving. Kevin Feige took over as chief creative officer of Marvel, period, at that time, right? He had a
Hmm.
title, Quesada had a title change, and then he pieced out. So this is Marvel Comics is Kevin Feige's ship. It's his creative chance, right? What's happening in the MCU right now? T'Challa has died, and we're on the precipice of mutants being introduced improper in the MCU. What is this also about? Those same two things. I think, and also the title of this, Marvel Knights, also was an out of continuity offshoot from the Marvel universe, which then they drew back in to make it part of the Marvel comic universe at the time when it was when it was created. It was essentially Event Comics
Yes.
branded as Marvel, right?
Yeah.
But then they drew it back in because it was so freaking popular, right? They're calling it Marvel Knights again. That says something. That
Hmm.
means that it should be a big, bold swing, and it should be something that is kind of out of continuity of the
Yes.
Marvel Comics 616. That maybe if it could, turn into something, could be drawn into it. We have the freaking person that created it with Joe Quesada. We have all these things. I think this is going to be the thing that brings us kind of like draws the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the 616 together and like makes it a cohesive thing. I don't know if that's going to happen overnight or if they're going to have some kind of like new event. Like maybe this is the beginning of something and then some event later on kind of smashes worlds together. We have incursions, who knows, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like the tea leaves line up too perfectly for this to be a coincidence. The only thing that really makes me question that is, like I was saying, Quesada's been working on this for years. And I don't remember when Chadwick Boseman died because it was no intention for T'Challa to have passed away in the universe. So I don't know where that jives and where that fits in, but like everything else just feels too right for that to be wrong. And maybe I'm just being too ambitious in my mind, but that's what made me so freaking excited here. And that's why I was excited to talk to you about it. Cause like I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about the possibility of what this could be.
So you think Christopher Priest is going to be the architect for that in this story? Like, first of
I don't know. But like
Mhm.
again, like it feels like way too in line with what we're getting in the comics. And Marvel's been historically terrible at building synergy between those two things. Like maybe they
Seriously, so
release
bad.
a couple things, but like they straight up suck at like
No, it
building
doesn't even.
excitement
It
based in the
feels like
comics.
they feel like mailed-in efforts here lately. With although I didn't rather enjoy. See, I'm being such a hypocrite. I did rather enjoy that Red Hulk book, but yeah, man, I definitely think that would be a super cool development. I would love to see the incursions, really kind of take place, and that be a big thematic thing
Mhm.
moving forward. You know what I mean? That's such a great idea that lends itself so well to the big screen. So yeah, Casada. So happy to see Casada back on art though.
Oh, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He
Like he's
hasn't
gonna be
done
doing it
anything
all.
since
Like it's
Daredevil
gonna be
Father.
that's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, you were
We
also
got
talking.
the string of Batman covers. Remember he did for the Zdarsky, but there wasn't like a ton of them. But God, good lord, they were beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and you were also mentioning your level of disappointment with him not doing anything creator owned or anything indie or anything like that. Keep in mind, he still has created that imprint within Mad Cave now called Amazing. I think it's called Amazing Comics, something like that. They've
Hmm.
already released an Ash Can, so there's still stuff coming out. Like he's still working on that avenue of his career at this point, which again makes me feel like something's up with this. This is bigger than a throwaway event or a throwaway mini series. There's something going on here, and I'm excited to see what that could be. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow, right? But like, man, it feels big. It feels like maybe they're listening to our gripes from just 10 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, I hope. Well,
Time will
I
tell,
hope
right?
not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm sorry. I was trying to get back up. The chat keeps jumping on me. I wanted to get back up. We got Nick in the building station, brother. Yay, more out of continuity stories.
Uh, they're listening. They're listening
I
to
love
you.
it. DC in the building. DC, what
What
up,
up,
brother?
DC?
Happy new comic book day. Good to see you. Oh
Always
yeah.
good seeing you, man.
Plagas in the building. Good evening,
Got
sir.
the
Good to see
doctor.
you, Dr. Plagas. Absolutely. What else? Oh, we got Omega Slice. Omega, thank you for promoting the show
Oh,
earlier today, man. Seeing that made my day. Eric sent me a screenshot, dude. Really appreciate the love. Sal says, imagine a Quesada Daredevil series hitting right now. Would have been perfect. Man, somebody make this guy editor in chief. What are we doing?
no kidding.
It's
It
a
seems
great
such a
call,
slam
Sal.
dunk.
Absolutely. Shield says, no disrespect to Black Panther, but the people who kind of need to stop being so selfish and let me get some of that vibranium. Chill. I shudder at the thought, Chill. Um, did Joe Quesada do a bad idea thing?
Oh, well, I think he did like an incentive cover or something like that. Like I don't think he did it like an actual book. Like, but I think he did like a variant cover for one of their silly things that they did. Many of them were very silly.
uh, Yeah, Sal says, I wonder if it's a continuation of Priest's first Black Panther Marvel Knights run. That would be dope to see some elements of that legendary run. Absolutely. Mark Teixeira on artwork. All right, but that will do it for the news. Let's move into our comics. Assorted Crisis Events #1 is going to be our first book of the evening. This one was highly anticipated, I think, for both of us. Yeah, E?
Oh hell yeah, dude! Dennis Camp has skyrocketed into being one of my like most anticipated writers in the industry right now. He's doing great work.
Yeah, book after book, issue after issue. Dude is killing
Hmm.
it. Yeah, so yeah, Eric Zawadsky. I had never heard of this artist before. Had you?
No, but it was a very pleasant surprise. I really liked their approach on the book.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
gorgeous. And Jordi Belair did an amazing job on the colors as well. I love the color
yeah,
palette.
totally.
Um, and of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Haas on letters. I mean, if it's a great book, if it's a book like it's really great with Haas that you can know it's a quality book if you see him on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I love that he's attached that to his brand. Like it's going to be something special. So shout out to Haas, man, the best in the
hell yeah,
game for my money. But how to describe this? How
yeah.
to
I don't. This
describe
is
this
gonna be
one?
wild. I think maybe we just
So
have an open discussion about this, like, because
yeah, so
yeah,
it's a day in a life type of story, right? With
hmm
this girl as she tries to get to work, I guess, ostensibly, and
hmm
she has a hell of a time getting there and back home to her place. And she's dealing, basically with a world where there's all these time anomalies, I guess would be the best way to put it.
yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, these chrono aberrations where people will get caught in a certain moment in time. I love this old man who's picking his nose and gets caught in that moment for forever as his
Poor
wife's
dude.
right as his wife's trying to bust him out. But yeah, she lives in a lower income neighborhood where they shoot all these post-apocalyptic movies. It's a simple story, says Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding.
She lives in this lower income neighbor, lower rent, I guess, neighborhood where they shoot all these post-apocalyptic movies with no concern or care to the citizens or the hazards to their health. Shooting these pictures, all the noise violations, all that stuff they could care less. They just don't want them getting in their shot or walking through their scene. So she's got it rough, and she's dealing with a world that's constantly shifting on her, constantly changing. She finds herself in like the middle of a Nazi rally. She finds herself in the middle of this crazy action set. What did you think about this world building and how time was acting in the story? It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? You didn't know what to expect and what to anticipate every single page turn that you had here. And I think that Dennis Camp does a lot of good things setting up what I feel like could be pieces of a story that like get picked up because essentially from my understanding this is going to be an anthology. So the our main character here we're not necessarily going to see in issue 2, 3, 4, like could be one and done and she's gone, right? But there's things that we pick up on here. And correct me if I'm wrong here, maybe I was misunderstanding. Isn't the filming using these temporal anomalies basically as special effects? Aren't they using it to save money so that they don't have to CG anything? They're like, wild stuff's gonna happen, let's film it, right? And then like that's basically we're just using that and running with it.
Yeah, I was curious as to why her neighborhood is it like her neighborhood a hotspot for it?
And okay, and that's one of the things I'm talking about, like where maybe there is a breadcrumb to be picked up here because yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, maybe there are like, yeah, you said it perfectly, hot spots. Maybe it's not happening everywhere, but it's happening in little pockets across the world. Or maybe this is solely the only place where it's happening.
Yeah, and it's like I love when she got to work and they had never even heard of her. She's not like they're like she had been phased out of the system by time.
And even better than that, she acted like it wasn't the first time it was happened either. She was just like, yeah, I ain't getting paid for this today.
Yeah, yeah, totally relatable. Goes to the bar and gets yammered, and then like I love her going back, and then the destruction and dread, the prophet dude is getting hauled off, and she interrupts it with the cops, gets beat up by the police officer, and then they decide to charge her with assaulting a police officer, throw her in jail, lock her up, and um, she gets her poor clock back in pieces. And I love how the guys who work with the clocks, they want it to have some unique story, and
Mhm.
they show two of those encounters. I just thought that was a really, she's got her parents' clock and it means so much to her, and she really is trying to get it working again, but even that story is not good enough for them. Oh, this scene
Well,
was
it's
great too when she fell
yeah.
on the practical effect.
Oh my god. Well, yeah. Well, talking about the people who are fixing the clock too. That's where I was looking at those breadcrumbs, man, and I was thinking when she went to the first guy, it was very brush off, like I can't be bothered to do it
Yeah,
because they don't mean anything anymore. But the second guy, what his interaction with her made me feel like there's more to the clock that maybe could be explored further on, or maybe the concept of time within this world. And again, maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know, but that's kind of the cool thing about it too, is like it's an exploration of this world that we don't get the full scope of yet with issue number 1. And we might not ever either, because issue 2 is going to be totally different and wacky and crazy, right? But like it's such a fun ride to like when we think about like a slice of life book, this is like totally not what you think of at all, but it works so good under those like circumstances as well. It totally is a really great, effective slice of life book. Just absolutely batshit
absolutely.
crazy.
Absolutely. And like you're talking about, like I love this walk home when she sees this crack, and she's drunk, and she's like, ah, fuck it, and she falls right in it, and she's like,
Yeah,
damn practical effects. And it's
yeah,
it's just painted on the road. It was so fantastic. But yeah, and how did you like the ending, man? I love the ending. She goes home, passes out, gets woken up by all the noise. She's had it with these movies, runs out into the street, and the shopkeeper from across the way, who she had
oh, dude,
stood up for earlier, runs across and is trying to warn her. There's all these laser guns and crazy shit going off, and he's trying to warn her that this shit is for real. It's not
yeah, he
not
gets
for
got.
yeah, and he gets split in half. And super wild. And then she's like, wait, isn't it a movie? And then you hear cut down there. I just love that last page that you got up there on the right, and
Hmm.
the cut down there in the bottom right corner. It was such a fantastic ending, man. And I just like you love, like you said, I love the slice of life, day in the life journey that it took us on. I can't wait to see what all this means with time, and how it behaves and acts in this universe. And you know I I'm really curious to see if we've really seen the last of her parents. Do you remember that she said she hired that detective and sent him back in time, and he said, he found somebody matching their description. You don't want to know what happened to him.
Yeah,
So
they're like in the 1800s or
yeah,
something, right?
exactly. And they were in this area, and but you don't want to know what happened to him. So I don't know. I'm curious to know more about our main character as well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it was such a fantastic opening entry, and like you said, man, Dennis Camp just doing some extraordinary work between this and the Ultimates right now. So highly recommend this writer.
Heck yeah, yeah. I mean, he's not gonna do you wrong, man. He's had too many pick of the weeks, too many good books out there to pass up at this point. Like he's earned my dollar. Like I don't even have to know the premise of the book. It's going on my pull list, and period. Like end of story.
Absolutely, hell yeah. We got Rocket Bravo in the building. What up, bro?
What up?
He said each issue is a one and done in a world where a crisis event is happening. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, the anthology.
Oh, it's anthology style? I didn't even realize that. I've read the first few
Hmm.
issues. It gets better and better. Early entry for book of the year. Oh yeah. That's
Wow.
good to
Dang. All
hear,
right, we're not
man.
even out of the first quarter. That's strong stuff.
Oh man. Absolute Martian Manhunter. I
Stop,
cannot
dude.
wait.
Stop.
Cannot wait. Moving on. Geiger number 12. Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brad Anderson on colors, Rob Lay on letters. This one dealt with Geiger, Ash Arden trying to teach Geiger to control his powers, but also learning more about our little sexy nuclear sorceress here. You know what I mean? Getting a little backstory. I love this character, dude. She
I
is
was
so
gonna say, is
she
it
is so
fair to
fun.
say
She is.
you're smitten, right? Would that be
I might
accurate?
be.
Would that be
I
okay? I
might
think
be.
you are.
It's the damn boots, dude. Those boots do it for me. Um, but yeah, what do you think about Ash Arden and the back and forth early on with her and Geiger and trying to get him to center his powers?
Dude, but before this issue, I would have said that she's a little bit one note because we didn't get enough time to spend with her. It's all been about the journey to get to this mysterious person who we find out was Arden. This issue was pretty cool, and I like the fact that we get some answers, but we don't get all of the answers. I feel like there's a lot of strategic placement of the facts that she gives around like how she came to be, how her
Mm,
power set came to be. Like there's enough details that are not given to make me go, there's more of a story there. And then, when we get to the ending, which, I don't think we should spoil, but like when we get to the ending, obviously it just flat out tells us, oh, no, you don't know this person. You have no idea what's going on.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, she tries to get she asks Geiger Tariq if he's ever been able to control his energy before, and he says once, and she tries to get him to go back to that moment and hold it in his mind. He's not able to do
Oh,
that, but and it is beautiful to see. Yeah, go that flashback of Tariq's past. You know,
that was the first moment in the book because I had picked up Geiger, at basically when they relaunched it, this new number one. And I remember people saying, specifically Nick here was saying, dude, you got to go back. You got to read this stuff. And I was like, maybe I will, like if I find time, I'll jump back into it. But like, it's not necessary. This was still a good enough jumping on point. So I was like, okay, like I'll just ride with it. It was this point. This is the point now where I was just like, oh, it was so important. It was so vital for me to go back and to have read the things from the very first series on because this moment hit so hard
yeah, facts.
knowing everything that had played out in the past. So like this was like the best part of the issue to me. Like it hit so hard.
Yeah, and we learned that growing up, Ash had it. She doesn't really know how she got it. I don't think we get that explanation from her either.
That's what I'm
Just
saying. There's things that are
yeah,
missing.
man. Just that she had it early on as a kid. The foster family that she was with, the mom, the dad passed, the mom passed, the kids passed, gradually all from cancer. She realized, she really is trying to impress upon the fact of Tariq, like everybody around you dies and it's your fault. You have to like kind of own that. And that was a big part of her kind of owning her own power and being able to control it. Or
Mhm.
so she says. So we believe, right? And we're
Yes.
gonna
Yeah.
get we're gonna get there. Yeah. So they talk about Dr. Molotov and their connection to him, and she says that she knows where his killers are and that she wants Tariq to help her get justice and that he deserves justice. And so they head out there. Tariq immediately sees violence on the horizon and starts to get nervous, but she's trying to play it cool at first. I will say that she is trying to negotiate, but I feel like she doesn't go out
Mhm.
there without knowing what's going to happen, right? um
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and this holy sect, if they end up, he's like, take them to the altar. They try to put hands on them. Things go south. Tariq tries to hold it together, and he can't, right? And
Yeah.
you know he you know detonates again, but she is there to kind of absorb all the energy. Great shot here um by Frank, dude. Just fantastic artwork there. It still burns, but I can handle it, or I can take it, or something like that. So, dude, what do you think? And then let's go ahead and get to the end so we can talk about kind of the nature of I think so we can better talk about what's going on here.
Okay.
um Yep. So we get they head back. She tells Tariq to get a good night's sleep. That they have a lot of work to do. They're going to continue working on trying to get him to center himself and find his zen and all that good stuff. Right. Another day is tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day of training. She goes. and I love the segue. I think she said something like, there is still much for you to learn. And then we kind of segue into her walking down into to the dungeon, into this cell, where we find that she has Dr. Molotov tied up, and he is telling her through the cell, you don't know what's happening to you. You think you
Yes.
have control of this, you're going to lose control. So basically it gives us the impression that she's a ticking time bomb, and it's going to be super mega when she goes off, right? There's going to be absolutely no survivors, and she's been out here like absorbing all this energy, and it almost seemed like she took Tariq out here to these holy rollers, knowing what was going to happen, just so she could absorb his energy. I don't know if she's doing it on purpose, like she needs it to sustain herself, or what's going on. But just the fact that all is not what she says it is, and her story might not be what she's telling us, and that she might be unstable, like
Yeah.
energy wise, is frightening. And it's going to be, dude, I just, looking on the horizon of this arc and where this could head between these two characters. Ooh, man, I can't wait. So
Dude,
this second volume has been such a joy for me. So many great standalone issues, but also the story they've been telling and weaving throughout the whole thing has been incredible. I love this book. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's a really clever bit of writing, how they kind of like display everything that happens in this issue, because you're seeing it kind of through the eyes of Arden, and you're kind of experiencing what she's telling you and kind of what she is seeing. So you have to take
yeah,
her word for it a little bit. So she gives the backstory of herself, and she says, "Hey, Molotov was crucified by this, religious cult, and I gotta do right by the person who helped me, so selflessly, and like allowed me to control my powers, just like I'm gonna do for you." What a self-righteous thing to do, man. What a great person this Arden must be. And as you go through the issue, you have to take her word for it. You believe that, she's doing this for Geiger, to as an exercise to make him, it's like these people's lives are in your hands now. You can decide to go off like a freaking bomb, or you can understand that you're in a situation where you have no choice. You have to control it, otherwise, you're going to kill these people. So you can kind of see, it's like, oh man, she's putting everything out there to help this person. But when we get to the end of the issue, you just see how wicked this person could possibly be. She
yes,
was out there possibly destroying any kind of like anything else that could lead anything like the truth back to the people that she's working with now. The other thing too that really makes me think is that we know that in the backstory of Molotov, that he was also one of the architects for the reason that the war had occurred previously as well. So it makes me wonder, we have two glowing people. That doesn't mean that they are the first glowing people either. Is is there a possibility that the war was triggered, like the bombs that they talk about going off? Could that be another glowing person who has done what Arden might be building up to?
yeah, dude. I think that's one of the best things Johns has done in this universe, is given himself so much backfield to play with. You know what I mean? Like he
Yes.
can go. He's got like, he just threw it so far in the future to where he can go, like the way he can pick and choose how he wants to build the history out on this is so,
Mhm.
it's so well done. And I think it's one of the best things he did structure wise, in delivering us Ghost Machine. So yeah, fantastic book, man. Anything else you wanted to say about Geiger before we move on, brother?
No, just I just love the turn at the end, man. We're led to believe one story throughout 21 pages of this book, and you get to the 22nd page, and it makes you reevaluate everything that's happened previously. It's great storytelling. So Jeff Johns is
Amen.
just killing it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, moving on. Speaking of Jeff Johns, our second Jeff
Speaking of
Johns book,
history,
Redcoat number 10, man, the Annie Oakley issue. Brian Hitch on art, Brad Anderson again on colors, and Rob Lay again on letters. Yeah, dude, this one was a blast. With Simon Pure running into Anna Oakley and getting into a shooting contest with her basically for most of the issue, right?
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I'll let you take it away. I know this is your favorite Ghost Machine book. How have you liked these, like Johnny Appleseed, these American, you know, Titans of Mythology issues so far. This was
To
my favorite yet.
The same, absolutely the same. Like it's every issue. I feel like like I could say is the reason why Redcoat is my favorite Ghost Machine book. Like every new issue I get, I'm like, this is it. This is the best one, and this is why. And it's like, and they keep having me say that over and over and over. The Einstein stuff was fantastic.
Yeah, it
The
was great.
freaking Johnny Appleseed stuff, fantastic. This issue, so good, man. It's like the character of Simon Pure is just such a great it's just such a great journey to be on with him because he says it himself, right? Like, but as you'll learn, I'm anything but every single time he says his name. He's going on the hero's journey. He's learning something new about himself. And we're taking time jumps as well. So, like, just like we talked about with Geiger being able to move backwards, this is moving forwards. And we're being able to tell that hero's journey and kind of play a little bit of fill in the blank as time goes on as well, to kind of see his growth as he learns something new from each one of these people. And again, this issue was no different, man. I love that we still get the dastardly thing. Like we open up the issue where he was, he
Oh
swindled
yeah,
some dudes out of
Robin.
a
Yeah,
freaking
Robin.
yeah. Yeah,
Robin.
the aces up his sleeve or whatever, and he's piecing out with like a bunch of freaking money. And lo and behold, he ain't the smartest, he ain't the brightest, he's just not the best person out there. So he gets got, not even by the people who are chasing him, but it's just one of those things. He's on the train, turns around, and whack, sign gets him, and he's done. He has to let that immortality kick back in and finds himself with Annie Oakley. But it's just such a good hero's journey, man. He's such a fun character to follow. And of
He
all like the
is,
big
yeah,
weighty books we have, sometimes I just want a fun book, man. And this is like the
absolutely.
most fun of the fun books.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It really is. He's a blast to hang out with. Yeah, and it's like I like how when he was on the train and right before he hit his head, he said there's like he felt like there was some invisible presence there on his shoulder, like he had felt
Hmm.
before. I'm curious if there's any seeds there. We're gonna see something later, but yeah, I this was dope to see, him keep up with Annie Oakley throughout the shootout, and then eventually them, help uh, this, the townspeople or this woman, when these guys went crazy and had this standoff going on. They basically played sniper on top of the building and helped get him out of it. What do you think Simon's reluctance to shoot was here?
I think it's the fact that he has no faith in himself. Like he's never put himself in a situation where it's been do or die. Therefore, he has no confidence that he can, perform in those circumstances. And that's again a great part of the hero's journey is like we get the shooting competition, and it goes to show the dude is no slouch. He's had enough time, because again, being immortal, of course he's going to be great at these things. But when push comes to shove, can he deliver? And I love that basically she doesn't let him give a different answer. You have to perform, like show your worth, right? And if you miss, you miss. That's fine. But you've shown that you have the talent, put it to use. And he does. And he gets to do that thing, which is again, just brings a smile to my face when I'm reading this and I can see this dude who has no faith in himself gain just a little bit.
Yeah, I think he had that great line where he's like, "She gave me that one thing that day, and that was hope." Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a really really dope moment. But yeah, and great artwork. I love Hitch on this book. He's doing a fantastic job. All the artists, man. It's been so consistent and you know so thorough across each title on Ghost Machine. So and the
Yeah.
quality, the physical format of the books is the quality of it is incredible. So such a great publishing initiative. Um,
Yeah, you could tell there's a lot of time and care that went into kind of building this all out and really putting their best foot forward to make this like an imprint that was going to be something that could stand the test of time.
yeah. So what do you know about the Northerner going into the? It looks like we're finally going to have a showdown between these two, right? He was like,
Dude,
well, it looked like he was about 20 feet from him there at the end of that issue. So hopefully we
yeah,
get.
I don't know enough, man. I know that my level of excitement has been building because we get that timeline at the end of every single issue, and it says
Mhm.
like the Northerner, is seen or something like that, or the Northerner comes on the scene, whatever. So like I've been waiting for that moment. Like, who is the Northerner? And I've done the same thing with other, we have other parts of it too. Like we know that Redcoat and Geiger are going to meet at one point, but like I've been, my excitement's been building to see who these people are and how they're going to fit into the greater parts of the universe. And like there's something going on with the character too, whether it's like temporal things, time travel-y stuff. There's something going on there that's going to make it interesting too, just
Yeah,
based on his design.
for sure. Yeah, I'm excited to see to like you said to learn more. All right, our final book of the night, Transformers number 18. I'm gonna let you take this one because I don't know who any of these damn robots are, bro. So it's on you.
Dude, I hate you for doing this because this is such a weird issue to go over
We
here.
don't have to. We can just hit the main beats. We don't have to. You know.
Well, that's the crazy thing about this. Okay, so let me go over the creative team here first and foremost. Daniel Warren Johnson, one of the best writers in the game right now, which is crazy to say the best writer in the game, not artist, but it's just true. Jorge Corona on art, Mike Spicer on colors, Russ Wooten on letters here. This team has been fantastic each and every outing that they've
Oh my
had here.
god.
Let me just say this, man, and this is why it's so hard to talk about this issue. Dude, it is like a freaking foot to the gas pedal pounding through the floorboard issue. They do not let up at all. This is just like it's just like you fly through the issue, and it is just nothing but like action, 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 actions, fight for fight for fight. And it's just wild, man. So like it's really one of those things where like, can I say a lot happened? No,
Yes.
not necessarily, right? But every freaking panel on every page was just something to take in, man. Like we get the van, right? The van that our human characters who we were introduced to in issue number 1 becomes one of the Transformers and starts wrecking like all these other Decepticons here.
Yeah. What's his
Like
name? Bitstream.
I believe so, yeah. I'm just like you. I'm terrible with the Transformers names. I got a handful, but you get out of like the core 5 and like we're done. I have nothing else that I can do.
That's
I'm like,
better than I can.
yeah, Jet Boy and Tank Man and yeah, whoever they may be. But it's a wild freaking ride, man. And like
Yeah.
we're kind of we take a step back from some of Optimus's things that he's been dealing with because I feel like we've gotten a couple issues where he's been essentially dealing with PTSD. Like it's the only way I can really kind of describe it, where he's been kind of having these episodes where he goes hyper violent and kind of loses control of himself and just starts wrecking everything that's in front of him. But this is really just all about the battle, man. And it was a lot of fun to see that. But man, like as we get to take a breath as the battle kind of culminates and finalizes here, we get kind of the end game, right? We get the thing that I feel like the whole Energon universe has been building towards since we've gotten the G.I. Joe miniseries, since we've gotten this, and we know that when we were introduced to the Decepticons, Starscream was in charge of them. So obviously we knew something was on the horizon. We didn't know when it was going to happen. We didn't know how it was going to happen. And we saw Megatron it was Cobra, right? Was Cobra the miniseries where he was first introduced?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, he
Right?
had him. Yep. Yeah. He had him
Yeah, because it was at the
at
end of
the
issue number
end of
1.
the end of the first issue.
Mhm. So we finally get Megatron coming back, and you see the two people who have tried to lead the Decepticons in his absence cowering in his presence, man. Um, Sorry, I kind of like swept through the entire issue,
No,
but
it's
again,
all
because
good.
it was like all action, like it's so hard to talk about. So, but and I really think that the conversation comes by way of the end. Dude, what did you think? Like, I mean, what were your thoughts on where this is leading?
It was killer, and I love Megatron's look now with the wires all coming out of his eyes and how he's got the bird hooked into him like for his vision. It's so sick, and yeah, man, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a brutal and gut wrenching end to this arc
Hmm.
with him back here. And like, you seeing, I love this last shot, dude. Corona's work all throughout this issue. I wanted to also include the shot of uh him doing the wrestling move and those two there can only be one combiner, you know what I mean? And they
Oh, yeah, yeah,
spell
yeah.
I forget the fucking Transformers names, guys. Pardon me. But man, that scene was incredible. There was so many incredible pages from Corona in this. But yeah, I love this in shot with the shadow there, and you know, Optimus Prime is calling retreat, dude. So Omega asks if that is a Daniel Warren Johnson. It is. Yes, it's
I believe so, right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
believe so.
I'm leery to say yes, but, like, because 'cause I'm not an expert on it, but, like, I've never seen him before.
Yeah, man. Our thumbnail features Daniel's variant cover with that transformer on it. I think it's like a cover E or cover F or something. So check that out. But yeah, I want to say the transformer's name is Bitstream, and it's normally this van that we saw early on. Um, is that Carly's van or Spike's van?
I think it was Carly.
Okay.
We should have really had Fable on the show tonight,
I
man, and he
know,
could have
dude. We
shown
are like the worst. We are doing the worst.
well, he
There's
could
some
have told us the
robots
name
and
of every
yeah,
single
exactly.
Transformer, and he could have shown off the American and the Japanese variant of the toy for the van,
Right,
so
absolutely. Speaking of Carly, she does get picked up by these armed forces. I think RC goes back for her, but it's too late, and they pick her up. So she's in
yeah.
the hands of them, and they also get their hands on um that Magnus transformer. So who was going berserk there and saying they're trying to enslave me. So that's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. Um, yeah, the cover is sick, dude. Check it out.
It's
I mean, all you know,
we
Daniel's
were all
artwork is.
worried that like a Transformers book had to look the same way like Pat Lee's artwork did back in the day when like the IDW first kicked off, which was very clean, very, like it was like you were just drawing the toys, right? And this goes to show like you could take a totally different approach, man. It doesn't need to be that same thing. It could be kinetic, it could be energetic, it could be
Absolutely.
free flowing, and still kind of keep the same model of the Transformers. Like that's a hard thing to do, and I don't think that Daniel Warren Johnson gets enough credit for being able to bring that forward in that first arc where he was on writing and artwork duty.
Yeah. The way I love that statement. The way they've kind of made his aesthetic, the uniform aesthetic now for the
Mhm.
story is really doing wonders for it. So that's a great statement, man. He does deserve more credit for that.
Well, and credit to Jorge Corona too, man, because he's a bit of a chameleon, man. His work with
Oh my
Scotty Young
lord.
looks different than his work on Transformers, which looks different than he was just on a different book too, and it's slipping my memory too. But like he is able to definitely like mix and match his approach for each book and whatever it truly needs.
Yes, very true.
Yeah.
And it's
It,
like it's it's the closest thing you can get to Daniel Warren Johnson without being him, but it's also its own thing, and it's original. It's not just some tracing bullshit. It's
no.
incredible. It's incredible
Yeah.
how he finds the way to emulate Daniel's style, but also do something completely new and different with it. It's amazing. It really is
Yeah.
just a joy to read.
Well, and we were talking in the back chats about because Daniel Warren Johnson was just the latest guest on the Off Panel podcast, and dude, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I
Guy
feel
asked the
like
best questions, dude.
so good. They're so good. But one of those questions was like, where were you in your time with Transformers? And didn't he mention that he was wrapping up? I think he was like finishing writing some of the last issues because I think he's only going up to maybe 25.
I want to say he's told us. I know he's told us 25 at Heroes last year. So
That's
yeah,
okay. Cool.
I'm pretty sure that's where he's at. And he spoke of that same sci-fi epic that he spoke of in the off-panel interview at Heroes as well, that he's been working on for years and years, and he has
Mhm.
big plans for. Like I think he wants that to go for years and years, like issues and issues. So really excited to see what that is and what his idea is for that. But yeah, I think he said something to the effect of Hasbro couldn't pay me enough money to kind of do my to kind of want to do my own thing, and I respect
Yeah.
that, man. You know what I mean? Um, like you said, you gotta make your decisions and your sacrifices, like we were talking about with Marvel. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I only bring that up to say because this is issue number 18. Like Megatron has just been introduced, man. So like every single issue now feels like it's probably going to be a must-have issue.
Yes, it's about to get real, folks. So
Yeah.
strap in. Yeah, hell yeah. Transformers number 18. Highly recommend. And that will do it for our comics this week, folks. Let's get into our covers. E, talk to me, brother. What you got?
First and foremost, a series that I'm totally not picking up here, but I've heard is a lot of fun. And with Otto Schmidt on artwork, it's probably something I'll go back and I'll be a trade waiter and kind of read the entire thing put together here. But Marguerite Sauvage, doing a
Hell yeah.
grizzled like look at Oliver Queen, one of my favorite characters within the DC universe. Like, had to showcase that. I love the color work on there. I love you can see the shadowy visions of the vampires in the background here. And again, the warm playing against the cool of Oliver's, outfit here, the dark green on there. Perfect stuff. Good stuff there. Next up, we have Michel Fiffe with, or better put here, Michael Fifi, depending on who you talk to. We have the variant for Death of Cobra number 3. Dude, it's just his style. It's him doing his own variants here, man. But I love the way that the pink and the cyan work against each other here with the title in the background. And dude, the right angle, or on
the triangle
that
is
arm
sick, yeah.
slants. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
it's so sick, man. The composition of that cover it's clean, it's simple, but it's so freaking effective, man. So I really dug that. And last but not least for me, man, I think we both appreciate Phil Noto so much, man. And like the way this cover is laid out. Again, another simple cover, man, but like, dude, Nick Fury, parachuting down into the gaping maw of Fin Fang Foom here, guns ablazing, by none other than Phil Noto, dude. It was killer, man. We had a lot of good covers here. I definitely had to pull back. I'm like, okay, I could throw 18 on there, but I'm gonna pick 3, and I'm gonna leave some for Stu here. So what do you got, dude?
I appreciate you, brother. All right, starting off, I got Ian Bertram doing freaking with the Sword of Destiny here, man. Iron Man, such a sick cover. I think he colored this one himself as well. So yeah.
Honestly, too, sneaky good issue. Again, we gave Marvel a bit of a hard time, and I've given this series a hard time because I kind of had high expectations.
I've been following your coverage of this one and on the pull list. I find it interesting. You've been kind of up and down on it.
It's been, again, I had high expectations. I wanted to see them do something big and bold because we haven't really gotten anything really exciting for Iron Man since Chris Cantwell was on the series. And even that one, like, it drug itself out way too long. And they finally, I feel like, figured something out to do that's interesting with Iron Man in this issue. And if they keep that pace, great. I'm going to keep picking up this book. If they falter again, we'll see.
Okay, fair enough. In the meantime, go read that Matt Fraction run, people.
Yeah.
Geiger, Martin Morazzo from Ice Cream Man. I just love this one. It had this spooky Ice Cream Manish vibe to it. Variant, I think cover B for our issue that we covered. Mike Del Mundo doing Assorted Crisis events variants.
I was so close to getting this one, dude.
Can't go wrong with Mike, man. Can't go wrong with a Mike cover. He's always creative. I always love the stories he tells on his covers. And then, dude, I had to highlight Matthew Allison did this print for Mondo with the facsimile of Swamp Thing number 37 dropping. I love that. Matthew Allison doing Kanker, one of my favorite indie artists out there. Make sure you guys check him out on IG, I believe. I don't know what else he's on, but he's definitely on IG and has his shop link on there. So yeah, Matthew Allison, y'all check him out. Next week, brother, what are you looking forward to, man?
Next week, we're talking today, my dude.
Yeah, you're right. Jesus.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm catching up.
Dude, we've got some bangers, man. This is a loaded week so far. And the ones that I've read, I have not been displeased with here. Ooh. And I haven't even gotten to the ones that I know I'm going to really enjoy. So what I can say is the one I'm most excited for, come on, you already know. You know who you're talking to. Power Fantasy. Of course, without a shadow of a doubt, dude. Power Fantasy, I'm hyped to get back on that track here and see where this storyline progresses. From the ones I have read, without giving anything away, I was pleasantly surprised with Ultimate X-Men. Ultimate X-Men is the gripe about that book is that it's a slow burn, and it is. There's a dude, like we talked about the fact that
Do I
Transformers
have to
was
start reading that goddamn book again? Is that what you're telling me?
no, I'm not going to
Okay.
say that. If you're still on board, you're going to be excited. If you already fell off, this is not going to do anything to pull you back in. But what I can tell you is that just like that Transformers issue where it's like, man, it's hard to like describe the book because it's just action, action, action. Dude, that's what this issue is for Ultimate X-Men, which is crazy because we have not, that's been the thing we've been asking for. It's an X-Men book. Let's get some action. Let's get some fights. Let's mutant versus mutant and smash them together. We get that in this issue from page 1 to the freaking back cover.
Ooh. That
Yes.
sounds like my type of issue. I just wanted to read that one in collected form. You know what I mean? I feel like it would be much better digested that way. But
I think that you are
I'm
correct.
not hating on it because like I think it's got a lot of good things going for it. It's just it was tough for me to keep up with on a monthly basis. However, in collected form, I think it'll be an entirely different experience. Omega says Ultimate X-Men is low-key the best book and has some sick variant covers. Facts on the variant
It
covers,
does,
absolutely. Yeah. Hell yeah. Best Ultimate book. I think the Ultimates is my favorite. I gotta go. How about you?
I gotta
What's
go
your favorite?
Ultimates as well. But like, dude,
Not
I
Ultimate
love the
Black
fact
Panther? I know you're a big Ultimate Black Panther guy. No? You don't want to
I'm still reading
stand
it.
on that? You gonna die on that hill or
No, it's not my favorite, dude. Ultimates is absolutely my
I'm just
favorite. I
fucking with
still think that Ultimate Black Panther is a good book, man. Only people with nunchucks don't like that book. I'm gonna keep that fight alive. But
it's a
dude, I
solid
love
book. I think a good example of a slow burn, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, not as slow as Ultimate X-Men, but I gotta say, I just love hearing that Ultimate X-Men is people's favorite Ultimate book because it is so different, man. And that just goes to show again, like we talked about Marvel and some of the short, sighted things that they do. Dude, let's talk about some of the things that they're doing right. The Ultimate line is absolutely right. You get a little bit of a different flavor with each and every book, and it's kind of delivering something for people maybe that aren't going to be feeling the other things. So
Facts. They're doing
I'll
a good
praise
job with
them
that.
where it's needed, and I will praise
Absolutely.
them for the Ultimate line.
Well said. Well said. Absolutely. Yeah, but Black Panther was the slowest bird. Absolutely. Nunchucks. Hell yeah. All right. Before
Type
we
1
get,
in the chat if you like bow staffs. Type a 1 in the chat.
it's gonna be. Look, looking for nunchucks because they're cool. What he's not looking for a bow staff because he can go out to the freaking woods and get one if he wants to.
That's true. That's because it's so darn effective.
Did you want me to pull us off and you show off our collection selection real quick?
Well, first of all, you tell me what books you're looking forward to. We haven't gotten
Oh,
any
you're
of
right. You're right.
yeah.
So I feel like there's more than on this list that that I'm looking forward to. Batman and Robin, definitely year one. Come on, look at that cover. That cover is exquisite. All those covers been so good. Zatanna #1 was a pleasant surprise, and I love Jamal Campbell. I've been. Is it good?
It's so good, dude.
Oh, that's right.
It's
You
so
did.
good.
Yeah, you did have good things to say about it in the chat. Hell yeah, dude.
No, and I'm talking issue 2.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I remember you right earlier before the show, you were saying good things about it in the chat. So absolutely. Yeah, I love Jamal. Been a huge fan of his since Far Sector. Love him on Superman. I just think he's such a wonderfully talented artist and does not get enough kudos. So it's so dope to see him writing and drawing that one. So I definitely want to support his efforts there. One Nation Under Doom, obviously. #1 was pretty solid. #2, you read #2 yet? You read that one?
Have.
Or no?
I have, and it sucks having to bite my freaking lip, dude.
Oh, let's go, bro. I'm gonna have to read that one when I get off. But yeah, man, Power Fantasy, of course, one of the best books on stands, as we both know. Yeah, but a ton of great books. I know. Doesn't Absolute Batman drop as well?
Yeah, I didn't want to put like so many Batman books on the slide here that
Why
it was
not?
just like
Why
Batman,
not?
Batman, Batman, Batman,
You should
Batman.
have.
I swear to God, your channel's name is Dr. Doom's Fan Club, not Batman Fan Club. So like,
What's
calm
that
down.
one in the top middle? I can't read that title.
That's the Last Boy, dude. I mean, you know the artist that's on the cover there, don't you?
Is that Mr. Ross? What is that one about?
Mm-mm-mm.
Oops, sorry.
Come on, man. It's Panosian time, baby.
Oh wow, is it? Oh yeah, I
Yes.
blew it up. Yeah, that's Dan. That's
Yeah.
Dan.
So
I guess
that's
that's Dan.
Dan.
Would you know that's Dan? Like just looking at it from.
Absolutely.
Okay, okay.
All right. All right.
I
But
guess
so
so.
this is
Dan is
him
such a.
taking on.
You talk about a chameleon of styles. I feel like. Anyway, I'm sorry to
His is
interrupt.
an evolution of style, I feel
Yeah,
like.
very,
He's
very
always
true.
like very distinctly Dan, but like it's just leveling up year over year over year. But he's on writing duty on this. And this is, I don't know if it's like a continuation or a retelling of the Peter Pan story.
Okay. Hell yeah.
I'm on board, man. I think Peter Pan is a
Same.
fascinating story. Like, I mean, and you have so many different ways that you could take that, man. You've seen Peter as the hero. You've seen the take where Captain Hook is the hero. I'm excited, man. I'm
It
down
feels
for
like
that
that
story.
looks like a Dustin Hoffman hook though.
It could be. It could be
That's
for
what,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Definitely check that one out. That's a cool little surprise there. How about
Yeah.
are there any books that you feel like might slip under the radar for folks that you think they should?
Let me see what's on my list of things to read, man. The Sacrificers didn't make the slides here, but that is always a good book here.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Spectrum by Rick Quinn and Dave Chisholm.
Good call.
Um, Wild book, man. It is you talk about things that are hard to talk about. That gets timey-wimey. Null Hunter. Null Hunter doesn't get enough recognition here. We're talking Michael Walsh on the freaking story, man. He has become one of my favorite writers. That is very effective in a minimalistic approach to his writing, man. He gets the point across and he makes sure it just hits as hard as it can with the least amount of words. So that's awesome. New Gods. New Gods, man. Like,
Yes.
come on. Like,
Yes.
this is a sneaky good, well, not even sneaky. It's a loaded week, man. Like, I don't see anything that if I'm looking at my list here, oh, I'm sorry. Out of Alcatraz, #1 by Chris Cantwell, a
Oh
brand new
hell
number
yeah.
one here. Chris Cantwell has had some duds, but even those duds were still enjoyable.
I
Like,
do
I
really
think
like him.
his floor is very high. His ceiling can go places though.
Man, that Doctor
Um,
Doom series he wrote was fantastic. Loved it.
exactly. Dude, so
Yeah.
like I look at this list and like I'm trying to like in my head like, get ahead of myself. Any one of these books could be pick of the week. Any one of them.
Hell yeah. It sounds like so many bangers, dude. Sal says sounds kind of like his last series, Alice Ever After. I haven't read that either. Is that Dan? Damn, I got to get on these
That
Spinosian
was
series, man. Damn,
He's
I'm sleep.
become more of a writer over as the years have gone on, man.
That's awesome. I got to check up
Check
on
out
that.
Slots too if you haven't read Slots, man. That was so in his wheelhouse. You're gonna dig that.
Hell yeah. So slots and Alice Ever After. Appreciate it. The recommendation, Sal. Hell yeah. Omega says, did y'all go over the Absolute Flash Panosian cover? Now, has Absolute Flash dropped yet? I think if it
Yeah, I
drops,
was gonna say that would be on our picks for next week's
yeah,
show.
we'll definitely highlight some Dan. We got some Dan's got his own special section in the covers of the week. Sal says Last Days of Lex Luthor #2 finally out. Wow, I completely forgot about that book with Mark Waid. That was a Black Label kind of oversized book. Wow.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like #1. I have it somewhere around here. I completely forgot about that series. That's like Green Hell. It was the same size as Green Hell. I just like completely forgot existed. Omega says, "Is nobody reading the Deviant final issue?" I've heard really good things about that book. I just haven't read it, bro.
John from John's Comics with Kids, man. I've heard him speak very highly of that series, man, like glowingly, and it makes me kick myself. But at the same time, it's James Tynion, and like, there's really only one book that does it for me that he's writing, which is Department of Truth. So
Yeah, Robbie's had great things to say about the Deviant, I think, as well on some issues. So I
yeah,
definitely want to check that out at some point. All right, before we get into our show plugs, you want to do this? You want to show off the goodies
I do.
real quick?
I do. Yeah, I talked about having some adventures here recently. Recently being this morning. I was talking to, or I had blasted out to the chat this morning here, the back chats. That have y'all ever done one of these things on eBay purchases where you go? It's like a local pickup, and you have to go like find the stuff rather than things just being delivered to you. I purchased something. Well, let me take that back. I was looking for something that I very specifically wanted to get signed at Heroes Con. So I was kind of prepping for something that I was going to bring, but that certain something had a pretty hefty price tag on it. It was already going to be something where I'm like, all right, I'm drawing out of my con money to bring it there to get signed. And I found something. I found that something, and I found that something for hundreds of dollars less, and it was already signed, and it was being shipped from the town that I live in. So the dude hits me up and he goes, "Hey, can we just, I'll ship it to you tomorrow, but like I'm seriously at this place in town. You want to meet at a Starbucks?" And I was like, this is weird, but maybe sure, why not? Am I gonna get murdered or kidnapped or
Just like
something
that.
crazy? Yeah, but I didn't. Luckily, right? Because I'm
You
here
made it.
right now. But what I ended up getting, y'all know that I'm a huge fan of a particular blind lawyer, and his origin story was redone by Frank Miller. And I got this limited
Ooh.
edition. Let me see if I can get this where the light relief reflects off of it. So this was an extraordinarily limited edition hardcover with a slip case of Daredevil, the Man Without Fear, the origin. And I bought this because I wanted to get Mr. John Romita Jr. to sign it when I went to Heroes. But lo and behold, I don't even need to do that anymore. Plus, again, hundreds of dollars less than I
Wow.
would have had to have gotten it previously. So not only, look at this, gilded pages here with the red. Oh my God,
That's
leather bound.
incredible. I'm kind of surprised you let that go, man. That's crazy. What a book.
A crazy book. Comes with the Man Without Fear bookmark in there as
What?
well.
That's so
Yeah.
sick.
It was like this was a prestige thing that came out here. Not a whole lot of back matter on here. Cover gallery, nothing crazy, a couple images here, but this was like the last like hardcover Daredevil thing that I really wanted in my collection after getting the limited edition graffiti release of the Elektra Assassin. Like this kind of put it to bed. I have every edition of Born Again that you could possibly get. I got this, I got that. Maybe I'll get the Frank Miller artist edition one day, but I feel like my prestige Daredevil collection is now complete in regard to what I want. So this one, it was an adventure. It was wild and crazy. It was totally worth it too. That's not the only adventure I had though, man. This weekend, I'm sorry,
Uh-oh.
this previous weekend, a local shop here, Cape and Cowl Comics in Oakland, had a signing event here. And we had the duo of Greg and Fake that had hit up the shop here. So I got my Santos Sisters #8 signed by the duo here as well. But this issue is important. It's
Yes.
relevant, and
It's a
I had
landmark issue.
it's a landmark issue. There is a first appearance in this issue, and we had teased it. We had talked about it before. I think it's been out there on the interwebs at this point here. Pictures have been taken here, but lo and behold, in the pages of this book, we have the PCP Army Bad Batch.
Hey, we made it. Look, Ma, I made it.
Now, did we have to pay for that ad? Sure, but it doesn't matter. We could pay for legitimacy around here. But it was so
Exactly.
awesome to get this, to get it signed. And with that getting signed, it would be a terrible,
Oh,
terrible
shit.
mistake to not pick up. Yeah, come on, make me big again. Come on. To not get this awesome hardcover here with this insane acetate cover here where you get to see the Santos sisters. This sucker is like stuck on there. It's really hard to show
It
off
is,
without
yeah.
like sneaking it. There we go. So we see the sisters underneath, but the acetate cover slips right in and shows them in costume here. And again, it was a signing event, right? So like you ain't gonna go there and not get the signs and the remark right there as well. That
Hell
ain't
yeah.
it though either, man.
What?
I've had a little bit of a wild time here, and this is a blame Stu wholeheartedly.
Yes.
Oh, this sucker's so heavy. I'm like tipping over
Fuck
here.
yeah,
The
dude.
Absolute Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, Volume 1. Again, slipcase because it's the absolute version. All right, here's the thing. This is not going to show up well on camera whatsoever.
Oh my
But
God,
dude,
that is gorgeous, man. I
it's
need to get that.
this This is all like velvet, though.
Oh my
This is all. It
god.
feels mossy. It feels like you're
What?
running your hand across like, like it's like velvet. It's like moss growing on the book. It's awesome. This is such a good presentation for the absolute version of this, man. Like I can't wait to dive back into this because I just finished reading not this much of it, but the first trade paperback
Mm-hmm.
digitally. I'm gonna read it again. I'm just flat out going to start again and read it from the get go in this version because it's so freaking nice to look at. So
That's gorgeous, dude.
again,
Does it?
it's
They
been
have a bunch
wild.
of goodies and all that stuff in the back.
Oh yeah, it's an absolute version, of course. Here, so hold on, let me crack this puppy back open here. It's going to be hard to show on screen because again, I'm playing a balancing act here. But they got like, oh lord, they got like cover galleries.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, they got. Oh yeah, sketches here. Ugh. Sketches, some
Gorgeous.
essays in here.
Awesome.
Yeah, really good stuff here. They got some scripts. They got some original pages is here and here as well.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, awesome presentation. Great. Yeah, I'm just so excited to get this, man. And again, I've already read the story, so I know that it's just something worthwhile to have in the collection here. It's like one of those greatest comics of all time kind of things. So yeah, I was stoked to get all these things here. I feel like I could take a break, honestly, on buying stuff maybe until June. So yeah, I'm good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. All right.
Yeah. So how about you, man? What do you got to show off?
I got the newest book from Marty Keene, The Martin Man.
Yes.
Telling the I don't even want to ruin it. You guys just got to order it and read it.
Yes.
Definitely not what you think it is. A hilarious wild ass tale. Expect nothing less from Marty Keene and the folks over at Superhero Comics. Make sure you're following Superhero on IG. Go check out that website. Doing so many dope things in the indie comic world. And then I'm just following up on your lead, bro. Number
That's
8.
right.
Mine's not signed yet, but we'll get there. And I had to get the hardcover as well.
It's so nice, man. It's so
Right?
good.
And mine's not signed, but these came with the book plate. So I think these are still available on Amazon for $25, guys. Beautiful presentation, like he was saying. Check them out. Greg and Fake, Santos Sisters. But that will be it for collection selection this evening.
Good stuff,
Good
man.
stuff, dude. That Daredevil book was sick.
Thank you. I was so happy to get that for the price that I got it to, man. So it's been a good day. Let's say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Simpleton says, I'd speculate that the cover material for the Swamp Thing book is Touche from Nina. I was totally thinking the same thing. I was going to say
It's
Touche from Ninu or,
maybe
Ninai,
Need
but
Nub. Yeah.
Nina. Yeah, I think you're dead on there. So great minds think alike, bro. Appreciate it. All right, man. What you got going on this week?
Oh, before I get to what's going on here, this is what I don't like, Simpleton. Come on, man. I'm glad you're telling me this after the fact. Where were you at 8:00 this morning? Huh?
Yeah,
I'm getting my
should have
caramel
been
macchiato.
the
Gonna get
little voice
shanked.
in his ear. Yeah.
No kidding, man. All right. Where can you find me? You can find me all over the YouTubes recently, man. Like you can catch me every Wednesday night here with my best bud Stu going over Ink and Insights here. But every Sunday morning now, you can catch my weekly comic book thoughts, reviews, things with On the Pull list here, going over all the books that we went over tonight, plus a plethora more. On top of that, I also had, man, quite the undertaking here. And I'm so happy that Nick from Comic Culture and again, Stu joined me on this one with a new series that premiered here, Off the Backlog, where we go over the complete stories of some of our favorite books or some of the favorites or some of the storylines that maybe we're catching up on that have been recommended here. For our initial introduction here, we're going with Daredevil Born Again by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. Complete breakdown from start to finish with the gallery edition of the book here. So if you haven't checked that out here, hit it up, spend some time. Let me know what your thoughts are as well. What would you like to see on this series here? And maybe we'll put that into the rotation here. But all in all, that's it for me this week. How about you, man?
Hell yeah, dude. A great job on the edit for that, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Great job helping me out, man. You guys make me look real good.
Appreciate you, bud. Hopefully dropping tomorrow and or Friday. I am breaking down Marvel's #3 from Alex Ross and Kurt Busiek, Galactus versus Silver Surfer and NYC, dude. I think, if
Yes.
you've read Marvels, you know what I'm talking about. This is I think the moment everybody thinks of when they think of the book. So I can't wait to let you guys see this one and share my love of Alex Ross and this book with you. And then tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, I'll be over on Blood Splatter Chatter with Verno and Link doing Reanimator. Immediately after that, I will be on John's Comics with Kids doing Dr. Doom Omnibus review. That's right. I'm doubling it up.
You're back at it. You're back
Yeah,
at it.
back at it. Exactly. Can't hold me back. And then Friday night, I will be joining Fable, of course, co-hosting Blame Fable and his amazing friends with Nick, Brother Joe, and the rest of the gang. So make sure you come through and join us talking pop culture news and notes. But that will be it for us this evening. You got anything else you want to say to the folks before we get out of here, Bo?
Nah, man, just thank y'all for hanging with us, man. If you don't know, we appreciate you guys so much here, and it's just great being able to hang out with y'all on the chat here each and every Wednesday.
Absolutely. Make sure you like the video. You are subscribed to both myself at Dr. Doom's Fan Club and E at 9 Panel Grid for more great comic book content. Until next week, we'll see y'all. Station.